He's an interesting player. For a backup, like considering how he played in 2023, I think he's a pretty good backup. Now, 2024, obviously, I had one game, walked out on the Pats, all that stuff. So there's massive questions about him. But in general, just looking at him in 2023, if he was assigned with the Jets, coming off of that season, I'm like, okay, pretty good backup to have. Now the Pats signed him as a starter, or at least to compete for starter. He ended up starting week one, and then things went downhill. Didn't have a good couple of snaps, and then walked down the team, all that, which is not great. But 2023 was interesting to say the least, for a backup level player. So he's gonna be the right tackle. He's going to be going against Nick Bosa, jump setting him. So let's watch. And there's more good in here than you'd probably expect, to be completely honest. I do like the player overall again for what he did in 2023. Quick, right? Quick off the snap. Getting into his set, fakes like he's going to get into a vertical set, and then immediately jumps Nick Bosa. Right hand lands high, right? Like we want the hand not into the neck necessarily. We do want it lower, more towards the outer pec, so it does land a couple of inches high. He ends up refitting it and then just matching him. So off the jump, jump setting Nick Bosa and eventually getting good hand placement and completely locking him down and keeping away from the quarterback is a positive start to a review in my mind. Yeah, some people would, and this is not an up kick. It's almost like a fake vertical set, and then you with the second step jump up towards them. It's not exactly that footwork, so I'm not going to call it a up kick set, but it is a jump set. So there it is. Um, Chuck versus a stunt. Like I'm not saying Okorafor the entire time. So I'll call him again. We're gonna call him Chuck. Your right tackle versus stunt. All right, relatively patient, right? Gets into his set, but realizes, well, one, he has a chip from Fryermuth, right? So he doesn't want to go too far outside. So good job just setting, split in the crotch. Fryermuth gets a little bit of the hand on, but Bosa dives inside. Chuck gets his hands on, power steps to the inside, eyes are up, shoves him to his guard, redrops the post, matches 91, gets a hand on 91, pushes him vertical just out of the way of the quarterback. It's a good job, and it's even a tight. It's the slightest bit of an overset for considering that you're going to get a chip from Fryermuth, but again, power step, drops the post quickly. Power step to dropping the post, shoves him to the guard, jumps back outside, gets hands on, pushes him up the arc. All good. Bold and hold. All right. Right tackle right here. First, again, one of the better rushers in the NFL in Nick Bosa. Not expecting him to win every rep. Now, obviously, he does get called for a hold there. And why? Okay, so a little bit more of an aggressive set here as the Steelers are going to run the play action. So he's going to fake it like it's a run set. So he's going to close ground a little bit quicker onto Bosa. Problem is, when you're closing ground on Bosa, your hands need to be on guard, right? Your hands can't come from low. They can't clap. When your hands land wide, you're not going to have control of the chest. You're not going to win that reps, especially against Bosa. Bosa gets his hands out, splashes um, Chuck, rushes him backwards, starts to flatten out and cross his face as he gets to the quarterback's level. He's forced to now hold. You can see he's holding an outside shoulder, holding the outside shoulder. He can't get there, and the hold is called. So gotta get our hands up quicker. Can't clap on Bosa. There's no way you're not gonna hug technique. Nick Bosa, especially when he comes off with a head of steam like that when he gets vertical. Now, if it were a thing where, like, let's say he's a four tech, he's a tighter five tech, and he starts to work out wide with you, and his momentum is not taking straight into you, then okay, hug technique. But when he's coming off the ball hard vertical, you cannot hug technique. Again, hug technique to me is more effective when guys are moving laterally, not straight at you, because they're not going to have as much momentum into the bowl. Can't play like that versus one Nick Bosa because he's going to dominate you. Stunt pickup. Okorafor, I'm just going to say it. Chuck feels weird. Okorafor. Okay. Good stunt pickup. Patient with the feet, right? Not getting into the set too hard because he doesn't want to overset. Does a good job staying balanced. Knee bend. Sees 92, knifing to the inside to pick the guard. Power steps to the inside, left hand into the chest, nice and low, eyes up, shove him, shove him to your guard, match 90, right hand into 90's chest, left hand into the shoulder pad, perfect. And then quasi cuff techniques him too. I can't see where the left hand is of the rusher, but he cuff techniques him in terms of just dropping his wrist onto the hands, which are low on Okafor. So it's a good cuff technique too. At the end right there, make him lose his balance. Okafor bold hands and stance up. Okay, let's watch him get the right tackle. Does get bull rush into the quarterback here. Comes into contact a little bit high. And another rep where, right hand comes low. Left hand can't see it, but it seems that the rusher lands his right hand inside. Bull rushes that inside shoulder. Knocks Okafor back. Crosses the face, gets the hit on the quarterback. Okay, so one slight bit of an overset. Slight bit of an overset. And again, coming into contact relatively high, not completely straight up, but definitely not good knee bend. Jump and strike. Okafor. All right. Right tackle. Okay. The jump set. Getting more aggressive. I like the fact that he can run, vertical sets, 45-degree sets, jump sets, come off the ball, attacks them. Get hands land a little bit high here. You want that outside hand again more towards the outside pec, not the neck area. Left hand lands in a good spot. Shoulder pad will take it, but the right hand does land a little high. Okay, now it's a thing where they're both playing with length. Extended one arm of the DN. Same thing for Okafor. Keeps the right hand attached. Pulls him down a little bit. Good grip strength. Good stuff. Okafor versus inside movement. All right. Your right tackle. Good job there. Okay. Starts to get into his 45-degree set, vertical set, whatever it may be. 54 crosses his face immediately, or goes across his face immediately. Okafor power steps to the inside. Power steps to the inside. Ideally, that left hand is less of a circular punch and it's more straight, but it still lands into the chest. Extends the inside arm against the ribs, pushing him out of the gap. Gets him out of there. Okay. Inside movement, match, power step, left hand into the chest, the right hand into the ribs, attack him. Okay. Overset. So we've seen him overset a little bit in this review. This one's going to be a complete overset. Yeah. Versus Smith, and obviously the ball is out quickly. But just in general, it's an overset. Right? To this point, it's not an overset. That last step right there, he's really anticipating him working to the outside. Again, ideally, we want to split the crotch of the defender, right? So once we start opening that inside hip right there, and then stepping a little bit too far to the outside, you're inviting an inside mover here. Zadarius Smith, kind of club / bull rushes and backwards, and then rips, and there might even be a little bit of a hold there on Okafor. Yeah, there's a hold on Okafor. There's a hold on Smith from Okafor there. Don't want to overset. Opens early, overset right there. Gets beat inside by Smith. Pass off Crosby. Okay, your right tackle. Good job. And you can see he's athletic, right? So it's a situation where he knows his offensive linemen are all working to their right. So he knows he doesn't have to match inside movement by Crosby because he has help from his guard. So it's not an overset. He knows he has help. Gets a hand on, passes him off, eyes onto 5, they're trying to drag him inside so Diablo can come off the edge untouched. They have the right call for it. Again, with that slide or with that gap protection to their right. Gets on Diablo, patience, good hand placement, left into the shoulder, right seemingly into the chest. Pop him, match him. Good job by Okafor. Sack allowed. Not work feet. Okay, your right tackle. Right, yeah. Gotta sink in. Gotta sink and get our quarter turns and all that stuff into this one. Um, you know, slight overset again from him, but he does land his hands. Now his left hand's a little bit wide, but the right hand seems to be inside. Gets bull rushed back. One, because he's in the contact a little bit high, right? A little bit high here. Left hand lands too far outside. Not terrible. Red gets bull rushed back. He gets help from the guard here. The problem is here, like I want to see him instead of this like dead time right there. I want to see him sink into his stance and start to get off his insteps, get the quarter turn and match him. Get nice and tight, start lifting him up. We don't want to be playing at length with a guy like Max Crosby or really anybody, but obviously even guys like Max Crosby. One, again, hands are a little bit wide. We're a little bit high into contact here. And then once he starts like bowling into the inside and you get that chip right there, start to close ground. Start to close ground on him. He pulls himself through, dips underneath the punch, gets the sack. Want to see a little bit more activity there from him. Okafor torque to define. Your right tackle. Okay, good run block. You can see some power. He has some power. Now he zone steps here, gets his right hand inside, and then is using core strength. Why? Like in terms of like if this was just a base block where he wasn't getting assistance from the guard here, I wouldn't say this is a good block. But knowing that he has the guard here, he's trying to get his right hand in, and he's trying to turn him out of there. He's trying to turn him out of there. So he's taking some liberties with how he's coming into this block, but he knows he's getting the help from the guard here. So he takes some liberties, anticipates he needs to get popped to the outside, gets his hands in the right spot, working off the right instep, core strength to start torquing him to the outside, gets the assistance from the guard, runs the feet, works into him, gets good positional leverage here. This is a good block. Again, zone step, get those hands in a proper place, run them out a little bit. Good job. 2 for 1. Okay, your right tackle. A little bit of a muddy situation. So now you have Jalen Warren blocking anything off the edge. You have the entire offensive line